Hi, what's up everyone? I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, but I thought the longer I give it, the more realistic review I can give you about how it is to work in New Zealand and how's the New Zealand work culture. So if you're someone who is planning to move to New Zealand for work, this video will be extremely helpful for you to get some insight into how it is to be working over here, what are different traits of New Zealand work culture. So without wasting any more time, let's just start into it. The first thing which is very important to understand is when you start working over here, your employers and colleagues, they both expect you to be very proactive and take initiative yourself, which means that you will not be told exactly that, hey, you do this task and that task. You have to be proactive and take leadership of your own role. Not someone who needs to be spoon-fed, but actually you take initiative and you are proactive on your role. The second very important thing to understand is that there's not much of hierarchy culture over there. Everyone is equally important in a company. So if you're reporting to your manager or someone who's on a director level or higher level, you can always go and speak to that person, share your ideas or whatever you want to discuss. The reason is because New Zealand companies are generally quite smaller. They are not like 1,000 employees or something. Most of them are like between 10 to 50 employees. They're very small companies, very small businesses, which means they do not have much of hierarchies. So regardless of the designation, everyone has an equal say. Every employee is equally heard. So you can always share ideas and have your say in the decision-making part of the business as well. The other very important trait of when you're working in New Zealand is you have to be a really good team player. Even though you can work very well independently, there's a lot of team culture and working collaboratively and all that. So you have to be a really good team player. You have to be someone who can work with people, have a good conversation with people, have lunch with people, and these kind of things. So Kiwis generally are really social, they are friendly, and they're also very social people. So you're expected to be you don't have to be like a full social bee, but you have to be someone who can work collaboratively. One question that I've gotten a lot is about the New Zealand work-life balance. So work-life balance in New Zealand generally in most of the companies is pretty good. 90% of the workers, based on our research, 90% of the workers will tell you that they are allowed by their employer to go take a day off if they need to for a personal reason. I've worked in 2 different companies over here, and I've noticed very occasionally this happens that people want to go for picking up their child from school or dropping their child to school or these kind of things. And employers generally understand that if you want to take mental health day because you're not feeling very well, there's no question asked about that. But point is, you do not abuse this. If you do it in the right constraint, in the right manner, people are not going to question you on all of that. Your employer is not going to question you all of that. So the work-life balance is pretty good. People understand the value of having a family, of having friends, of having a life outside work. They really value all of that. Makes it a really good place to have a good work-life balance in most of the companies. I'm sure there are companies, big corporations, where it's not the case. But in most of the New Zealand companies, work-life balance really exists. In New Zealand, generally, companies do not pay so well. The wages are not very high in New Zealand compared to the cost of living over here. The cost of living in Auckland, especially where I live at the moment, is extremely high. Like New Zealand in general is an expensive country, but Auckland is extremely expensive to live in. So the salaries or the wages, however you call it, are not in alignment to the cost of living. But that's not the case for every company. There are companies that pay quite well and you can kind of make a really good living. But in most cases, the wages are quite low if we compare it to some other countries. So yeah, that's something to consider as well. But with that being said, there is something called KiwiSaver, which means that you can contribute about between 3 to 9% of your wage into this KiwiSaver fund, and your employer will match between 3 to 9%, which means, let's say if you earn 100,000 a year, you can put 3,000 yearly into KiwiSaver, and your employer will also contribute 3,000. So technically you're earning 103,000 because that extra 3% you're getting from employers. So KiwiSaver is a really good scheme over here as well. But yeah, that's another one to know while you're moving and you're new to New Zealand. Networking is the next one. It's extremely important. Having friends and having a network of people you have worked with is really helpful finding a new job. It's also really helpful getting new business. Kiwis generally are a lot about the word of mouth kind of networking and marketing. So if you put a good word out for yourself, if you have people who will speak highly of you and nicely of you, it can help you in getting new jobs, getting new business and all of that. So networking is extremely important over here. I personally don't do it so much because I suck at it, but I'm getting better. So if you're someone who's a social person who likes to hang out with people, make friends at work, that's going to really benefit you in your employee journey or in your business as well. Besides working, setting up a business in New Zealand is also quite straightforward and quite simple. It costs like almost nothing to set up a new business here in New Zealand. So it's a really good country if you want to set up a new business as well. But this video is more about the working culture and working over here in New Zealand. So I'll just keep my focus on that. But if you're someone who's interested in setting up a new business here in New Zealand, it's really easy. And if you have any questions, you can always ask me in the comments. I'm happy to help on that as well. Getting to the last point, but before that, I'd like to ask you if you could please subscribe to this channel, because it takes a lot of effort to create any simple video, and I'm very happy to help my viewers sharing any information that I can about life in New Zealand and about so many other topics. So if you would subscribe to the channel, it kind of helps me to stay motivated and create new content. And I'm also happy to answer any questions that you might have about this topic or any other topic. So please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And let's get to the last point. The last point that I want to talk about is New Zealand work culture runs a lot on the trust factor. You have to be a trustworthy person, and you have to be willing to trust others as well. There's a big value of you giving your word to someone. They will actually believe you on that, and just try to be very honest with your employee, with your colleagues and all of that, because that's going to take you a really long way. That's going to open so many doors for you. So trust culture is very important. New Zealand work industry is very small. Everyone knows everyone. So having a good reputation really helps you and takes you a really long way. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any other questions, ask me in the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions. And again, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, because that motivates me to create more videos for you. Thank you, and have a really good day.